Good day, everyone. So today we will be discussing the step 8 of the accounting cycle, and that would be the closing entries. So closing entries class, these are made at the end of the accounting period to close temporary accounts. So that we will be able to know what is temporary accounts, let us differentiate first the nominal versus real account. So when we say nominal accounts class, these are accounts that are temporary. So these accounts are the accounts that we are going to close then at the end of the accounting period. So what are those accountments, sir, that will be closed at the end of the accounting period? So we have the income, the expenses, and then we also have the drawings of the owners. So again, income and expenses, this can be seen on your statement of comprehensive income. So these accounts or the income and expenses that we have recorded during the year, this will be closed at the end of the accounting cycle. So income and expenses class, this will be closed temporarily to the income summary. While the drawings, this will be closed to the owner's capital then. So this account, then later on, we are going to close this one, and later I will be showing to you how do we record the closing entries. The next thing that we have here is the real accounts. So when we say real accounts class, these are permanent account. So when we say permanent account, the balances that we have on the current period will be carried over to the next accounting period. So meaning, kung pila man ang mga balances na ato ang makuha during the year, then we will still be going to carry on those balances to the beginning period on the succeeding year. So what are the permanent accounts, or what are the real accounts? So real accounts can be found in our statement of financial position or the balance sheet. So we have our assets, liabilities, and as well as our owner's capital or the equity. So assets, liabilities, and owner's capital, later on class, we will be able to see this accounts and our post-closing trial balance then. So then again, the focus on this topic is to close or how to create closing entries then to our nominal account. Okay, are we good? So let us now try to create then a closing entries. So just for example, we are given an adjusted trial balance of Erwin Addison Company. So this is the trial balance or the adjusted trial balance of the company. So we can see the assets, liabilities, the expenses, the income, and the withdrawal of the owner. So how do we do the closing entries then? So as what I have told you earlier, that we will only be closing the nominal account, and that would be our revenue, which is the restaurant revenues, all of our expenses, and as well as our withdrawals. Okay, so let me just put aside the adjusted trial balance para makita ninyo kung unsaon na to siya pag closing entries. So where is my Google Sheet here? I have prepared a separate adjusted trial balance. Okay, so here it is. So these are the same information that we have here on the PowerPoint. So how do we create closing entries? So the first account that we need to close is the income account. So we are going to close the income account. So how do we close the income account, sir? Diba, the normal balance of an income is credit. So, in order for us to zero out, para ma-zero out ang credit, dapat ato siyang i-debit para ma-zero out ang balance ni income. So, we have here restaurant revenues, if you can see. So, restaurant revenues is 5,133,000. So, we will debit restaurant revenue. So, the first one, let me just have a different color here. The black one. So we have here debit restaurant revenues. So the date is December. Let's say for example, the date is December 31. It is actually December 31. So restaurant revenues debit. So what do we credit, sir? So we will be using the temporary account to close the nominal account, and that would be the income summary. So, income summary class, this is just a temporary account that we are going to use in order for the nominal account to be closed. So, how much is that? I think we only have one revenue or income here. So, if we do have two or more income, then you just need to put all those income on the debit side, then add them up for your income summary. But in this scenario, we only have one revenue. So that would be the restaurant revenues costing 5,133,000. So credit 5,133,000. Oh. Okay, and that's it. So this is to record the closing of income account. So that would be it for the income account. So the next thing that we need to close, class, will be the other nominal account, and that would be your expense account. So close the expense accounts. So what do we have here in our expenses? So we have salaries expense, we have rent expense, office supplies expense, depreciation expense, interest expense, bad debt expense, and miscellaneous expense. So since expenses are contra equity account and their normal balances are on the debit side, so in order for us to close the expenses, in order for us to zero out the expenses, we need to put them on the, very good, we need to put them on the credit side. So we will credit all of the expenses. So we have here the salaries expense. So credit salaries expense. Another credit to rent expense. Another credit to office supplies expense. So let me just office supplies expense. And then we have depreciation expense. And then we have interest expense. And then, may go ni, bad debts expense, bad debt expense, and then the miscellaneous expense. Okay? So, again, how do we close them? We close them by using the temporary account, and that would be income summary. So, we will be going to debit income summary here. So, income summary. Okay, so we will now put the amount of the expenses. Salaries expense, that would be 3,876,000. And rent expense is 120,000. We have office supplies expense of 36,000. We have depreciation expense of 75,000. Interest expense of 54,000. Bad debts expense of 64,500. And lastly, we have miscellaneous expense of 93,000. Siya ma-zero, sorry. Okay, 93,000. So, we just need to add up all of our expenses here, and that would be the balance for our income summary. So, let me just get my calculator. Oh, where's my calculator? Here it is. So, that would be 3876 plus 120,000 plus 36,000 plus 75,000 plus 54,000 plus 64,500 plus 93,000, and that will give us 4,318,500, the total of expenses. So again, the total of all the expenses will be the total of your income summary. And that's it. So this is to record the closing entries of the expensed account, or to close the expensed account. Okay, that's it. It's very easy and it's no-brainer at all. So we can now proceed then to the next one, which is to close our income summary. Diba? As what I have told you earlier, income summary are also just a temporary account. So after we closed our income and expenses to our income summary class, we are going to close then the income summary to the capital. Kay temporary naman po ang income summary. So the third one that we need to close here is the income summary. So close the income summary. So where do we close the income summary? To the capital. So unsa may mas higher ang debit or ang credit? So if you can see, the income summary on the credit side is 5,133,000, and the total income summary on the debit side is 4,318,500. So which is higher? The higher is on the credit side. So if kung asa yang if mas dako siya sa credit side class, then our income summary will be debited then to close the income summary. But if mas dako ang iyang debit side, then we need to credit the income summary para ma-close siya. So since in this case mas dako man ang credit side, so we will debit the income summary. So income summary, we have income summary here. And then we will going to credit it to the capital. So what's the name of the capital here? We have Addison Capital. So Addison Capital. Okay? So what would be the balance that we are going to use for the income summary? So we are going to deduct them. So we have a debit of 5,133,000. So if this will be, let me just create here. The T account. So if this will be your income summary class, your IS, your debit income summary is 4,318,500, and then credit income summary is 5,133. So we do the math. 5,133 minus 4,318,500, that will give us 814,500. So that would be now the balance of our income summary. So 814,500 814,500. Okay, so this is to record the closing entry of the income summary, or to close the income summary. It depends on how are you going to put your notes here, for as long as you give the thought on what you are doing in this certain entry, then it's okay. Are we clear? Following so far? So it's just easy peasy. So it's no brainer at all. So let us now proceed to the last one, which is to close the drawing account. So the fourth closing entry is to close the drawing account. So the drawing account, class, this will not be closed to income summary, but rather it will be closed directly to your capital. Okay? So since drawing account is a contra equity account, the normal balance of a drawing is debit. In order for us to close the drawing account, we need to credit it. So, where is it? Dara, our Addison withdrawal is 1,200. So then again, since withdrawals is debit, we are going to credit that one. Addison withdrawal. And then we need to close it to the capital account. So Addison capital. So how much is that? That would be 1,200,000. 1,200,000. So to record or to close the drawing account, or to record the closing entry for the drawing account. So if you notice, class, diba, as what we have talked in our previous meeting, that capital, normal balance of a capital is credit. So if you noticed here, our income summary, class, our credit is higher than our debit. That is why we credit Addison capital. So it means that it increases our Addison capital because we actually incurred or earned a profit in this case, because our income is higher than our expenses. So the balance here is actually refers to our profit. That is why we credit Addison capital. And if you notice on the fourth one, we debit Addison capital. It is because Addison withdrawal is a contra equity account. When you say contra equity account, it will reduce your equity. So that is why kay naman tayo withdrawal, niya mugamay mga tong equity, that is why we debit Addison capital. Okay? Are we clear? It's easy peasy and no brainer at all. If you do have any question, class, you can comment down below so that I can answer it. Thank you so much and have a productive day.